Let's talk about this telephone hearing tonight on the president's executive order on the travel ban. Joining us, CNN Justice reporter Laura Jarrett and Pate, constitutional attorney. Laura, first to you. Help us understand how this will work this evening.
So later tonight, around 6 p.m. Eastern, we will have a hearing that is held by phone. The judges will hear argument for about 30 minutes per side, and then they could either rule from the bench, which will send everybody into a tizzy, or they'll do a written opinion later tonight or even maybe tomorrow. We've got a mixed panel of judges here. One was appointed by a Republican president, and two were appointed by Democratic presidents. Judge William Canby, an appointee of Jimmy Carter, he's out of Phoenix. We've also got Judge Michelle Friedland, who was appointed by President Barack Obama. She's in San Francisco. And then finally, we've got Richard Clifton, appointee of George Bush. He's a senior judge who sits in Honolulu.
We also have, Pate, let me bring you in here, 16 states attorneys general who have filed basically they agree with the states of Washington and Minnesota, and they're saying, we agree with you that this is in violation of the Constitution. Interesting, but does it do anything to bend the mind of these justices?
Well, we'll find out. I mean, it is very unusual for states to try to join a lawsuit that they didn't bring in the first place.
Are they joining it, or are they just saying we support it?
Well, they're trying to intervene. At least Hawaii is trying to intervene. The other states have filed a brief supporting the arguments. But eventually, this decision is going to affect every state. So it doesn't surprise me at all that you would have other states step in to try to support the arguments that are being made by Washington and Minnesota, that this ban affects our people, and nobody else is here to speak up for them except the states.
In making its ruling, will this three-judge panel weigh in on whether or not there is, in fact, a threat from the types of people that this travel ban keeps out?
That's certainly possible, but I really think we need to be cautious about our expectations here. The Ninth Circuit right now is only trying to determine if this temporary restraining order should stay in place.
So how would they decide that?
Well, they're first going to ask about standing. We've talked a lot about standing. It's a legal concept. Do the states have the right to sue? And that may take up most of the hour of the argument, because if the states can't bring this lawsuit, then we never reach the constitutional
It's a great
question.
point. So, Laura, to Page's point, I mean, Washington and Minnesota have to say that we as a state and states have been irreparably harmed. That is a high bar for them to prove. Usually it's just individuals who would have standing. How difficult will this be for them?
Well, we'll have to wait and see what the court thinks. Their argument kind of rests on this idea that, look, they have a number of public universities and medical students and faculty who are abroad or want to travel back and forth between the U.S. and home. And so their tax revenue is affected if they're prevented from coming in the U.S. We'll have to see whether that stands up for the Ninth Circuit.
You know, it was interesting. We had the Attorney General of Virginia, Mark Herring, on with us the last hour, Page. In every question we asked, he turned it around to say, this is hurting us in Virginia. We're losing money. Yes. We're losing business. We're losing people at our schools. And the reason he's doing that is because of this issue of standing.
Yes, but it's still speculative. I mean, everybody looks back to the case where Texas was able to show standing to challenge President Obama's immigration order.
This just happened a few years ago.
That's right, but it was very thin. I mean, in that case, Texas was saying, if you keep this in place, we're going to have to spend more money on driver's licenses, supporting these folks. Here it's even more speculative because they can't point to specific dollar amounts that the state is going to lose. But there's another way they can have standing. They can say that we're the only people who can make this argument. We need to represent the people of our states. And that's an argument that, frankly, has not been decided on by the Supreme Court.
Wow, well, that'll make it even more fascinating. And obviously, we'll be covering it all live. That phone call, they're going to live stream it so everyone can see it happening a little bit later today. Laura, thank you very much. And Paige, thank you as